Howdy, folks. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's funny, Russ. I've been in Canada twice this week, and it never seems to amaze me how bad the traffic around the Toronto area has gotten. But as the urban sprawl has,
so bad. I mean, I used to go there when I first started going there, maybe back in the early 2000s. Yeah, on a Friday, or if it was like from 3 o'clock on, it would get bad. But there were moments where you could at least drive. Now there don't seem to be many great moments to drive anymore.
No, I drove up on Tuesday to meet some friends for dinner, and believe me, I drove to Toronto over 40 times in 2018 when I was covering them for Sporting News Canada. So I know the ins and outs. Yeah. And on average, the going there in the morning was about an hour and 45 minutes. Now I plugged in my Google Maps and it said 2.5 hours, and it was about 2.5 hours. And I wasn't like going like someplace remote. I was going like right off Lake Shore, right off the QEW. Yeah. I had to get off the QEW to get onto Lake Shore.
Yeah.
And and then yesterday it was in Toronto, but it was, within 50 miles of Toronto, and the traffic backed up, and it wasn't at the bridges. It was just like, it just backs up constantly. So yeah. But anyway, start us off with the pre-show.
But you don't have anything to announce about an acquisition, 2 acquisitions?
No, I don't.
All right. So let's no, not that.
Yeah, that's it.
No, that's not it.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. Powdery substance.
Oh, no, that's for Off the Post. That has nothing to do with this.
Oh, but you could say it here. You could tease it here.
Oh, okay. And no, it's not something illegal. He said powdery substances. Jesus.
I was getting a little concerned there as to whether or not we have the authorities showing up at Mike's door.
Yeah, it's like Chevy Chase in Modern Problems. Nobody knows.
So here's what I'm going to talk about. I opened up Twitter today and I saw that next year Major League Baseball is going to have baseball at the Bristol Speedway in Tennessee, and my thought was, well, maybe they could race around with the bullpen cars. I mean, look, I'm not against doing that. I mean, I see things being done with the NHL. I wrote a book about the Winter Classic. Like, I get it. My only thing is, if they're thinking that Tennessee's a real baseball market, it's not. For me, Portland is so much better. It's been so steeped in baseball. If you want to go watch a great documentary with Kurt Russell and his dad and besides all the minor leagues there, they've got the Ducks there. I mean, yeah, there's some minor leagues in Nashville, but Nashville's not a baseball place. For the one-off, sure. But if people are thinking now they should get a team in Nashville, I disagree.
Well, I know that, okay, we'll avoid the whole Vegas thing, Jan, because, the Oakland Vegas thing. But if they're going to expand by 2 teams in Major League Baseball, I've heard Charlotte's name be mentioned. I've heard Nashville. I would be on the side of Portland, but I have a feeling that, I don't know if they have a stadium or not. I don't know if they want to add another team on the West Coast. So those are factors.
So a couple of things. So yes, Charlotte, I believe, has been pushing to try to get a team for a while. I suppose, that was a pretty decent support. I thought I had heard Nashville also. There was a group that I read about a while ago that had some pretty heavy hitters associated with that franchise to try to bring something to that neighborhood. It might have been Nashville. I'm drawing a blank right now.
I got a group on email 2 days ago for Austin, Texas.
It wasn't Austin. It was somewhere in that.
They have a whole rendering.
I think it was
maybe San Antonio.
I think it was Nashville. No, I think it was Nashville. I got to go. I'll see if I can find it. But they had some pretty heavy hitters associated. Look, from a venue perspective, they've sent out some pictures of what they project to look at, and it is kind of pretty cool looking, just with the oval and everything else there. So it'd be kind of interesting to play there. And they've done it obviously in Birmingham. They did it in Iowa, and they continue to do it in Iowa, which is pretty cool. So very, very, very. Look, they're going to try to pick out interesting venues to which to put it in to generate interest, which makes sense. Just look, I wouldn't say it's gotten stale. Look, the new rule changes have spurred a little bit more interest. Games are moving faster. Mike, you know quite well, and Russ and I's view on Rob Manfred generically, which I think he's destroyed the minor leagues holistically, which is kind of the fabric of baseball generically. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I personally think expanding now probably a bit soon. Just in terms, look, I haven't done it in a while. I just don't know whether or not baseball can really support 2 additional teams depending on the marketplace to try to do something there.
The one thing I'll say about Austin, the people there already have a waiting list on email. They have people who say they will buy season tickets. They have a certain number. Yeah, the stadium looked nice. I mean, my whole thing, though, is like what they showed for Austin was open air. It's like, listen, you got to take a page out of the Texas Rangers book and dome it, or don't have a team there, because it's
at least retractable.
You need to retractable, right? I agree with Mike. You have to do like Milwaukee and other places. You can't. Look,
that's what I mean.
There was a lot of talk. I mean, Russ, you and I both know there was a ton of talk in New York whether or not a retractable roof. Looking at, I think Steve Cohen had owned the team. If Steve Cohen had owned the team there most certainly would have been a retractable roof on that stadium, because you could use it for so many other events that you now basically can't use it in, because the conditions in New York just are not amenable to using it 4 or 5 months of the year at a minimum. Right. So you have to put up. You have to look. I mean, that's why Minute Maid works, right? There's a retractable roof there. They can close it.
Austin should do that too if they're going to think about it. But
yeah, just one other thing. I heard something, and I'm sort of operating in the blind. It was just like a little bit of a blurb regarding the Jets practicing in the rain. It was either yesterday or the day before, and they held Aaron Rodgers
yesterday against the Commanders.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I am not, believe me, I am not for starters playing in preseason games. Josh Allen is playing against the Bears tomorrow. Even if it's a drive, I think that's too risky. But he can't. Was it a scrimmage or was it a practice?
No, it's practice, joint practice. It was a joint. I don't have any problem with them holding him out. There was no reason to take any chance with him coming back from the Achilles injury in the rain. And it was pouring in New York, as you know. It was coming down.
Problem that day, but there is going to be a massive rust factor for game one. And the thing is, so the reason he got hurt in the first place was because he was trying to be so elusive getting away from the rush that he went one move too far. He's not going to be able to practice that this year with any real people rushing him or anything like that. So here's my feeling, and Aaron Rodgers probably would hate this. Aaron Rodgers, you drop back, you pass. If someone comes after you, go down. Go down in a heap. Don't try and do what you did, because especially on the turf at MetLife, you could have a repeat situation. Like, it's just, for me, it's like, don't try and be so elusive to continue the play all the time. Sometimes you have to go down.
Yeah, I mean, better safe than sorry, especially with everything riding on him. And it goes with any quarterback of any competitive team.
But it's more for the Jets as far as what's riding. Well, Joe Douglas's job, Salah's job, everybody's job is riding on this season. If this season's a failure, like Rodgers will probably survive if he gets through the season, but nobody else will. They'll all be gone.
Right. Okay, let's start the show. Hello, Hockey World. Today is Friday, August 9th, 2024.
I'm Jan Levine.
Russ Cohen from Sportsology and NHLDraftBuzz.com.
And I'm Michael Lagello, and this is the Hockey Buzzcast here on HockeyBuzz.com. Plug. Okay, let's start with, of course, it's August. There's almost no news, so when we get a little nugget like I sent in our group text or group tweet, it's something to talk about. We're going to talk about, since the Olympics are going on, and they're almost over with. I believe the closing ceremonies are Sunday, right?
Sunday. Yep.
We'll talk about
the USA basketball team still has a chance to lose.
Oh my God! Well, you know what? I'm not rooting for this, obviously, but knowing the Olympics, and it's U.S. versus France, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
France will get every call in the book because they're the home.
Are you saying they're going to get it like 72, like Russia, and extend the game?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, they'll do their utmost to screw them. Are you kidding me? But
I don't.
You may have it in the women's final also, because France is right now in the semis for the women as well.
Yeah. I don't believe that, but here's what I believe: there's too many old guys on that team and too many beat up guys. You can't even put Joel Embiid in the game anymore.
Jason Tatum didn't play a minute in the game against Serbia,
and neither did Halliburton.
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, you basically you needed a wheelchair to wheel out LeBron and Steph. Now they played great.
Oh, stop with the wheelchair garbage. They were the two best players on the court. The guy went and hit 9 threes. Are you? What? Come on, Mike.
No, they were good.
You're showing your bias here. You may not like the guy, but the guy was. LeBron has been the best player in this entire tournament by far.
Wait, time out. I love Steph Curry. I think he's fantastic. LeBron, I hate. I think he's a jerk.
He may be, but he's the best. He's been the best player on the court in these Olympics by far.
They don't really have a leader on that team. LeBron sort of is, but they don't really have a leader. That's the problem on that team too.
Yeah. So I mean, but all I'm saying is,
I'm a layman. I mean, I don't watch.
All I'm saying is France will get every call in the book. Now,
maybe Frederick Weiss is the coach. I don't know. I haven't looked.
We'll talk about.
No, you'll have Wembanyama and you have Gobert, but Gobert is not seeing much time because they've been playing Wemby at the 5.
I said coach.
I know. I don't think Frederick Weiss is there, and Vince Carter's not coming out to dunk over him again either. So we don't have to worry about that.
Hopefully, Rudy Gobert has not been hanging around with that American who ran the 200 meters. Otherwise,
how old's Tony Parker? Is he playing?
No, Tony Parker's not playing either.
Ask Eva Longoria. Okay, so we'll talk about Team USA for 2026 after we talk about the list that the NHL Network put out about the top 10 goaltenders. And, okay, I agree with number 1. You know that I agree with number 1, who was Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is interesting, by the way, because if you read the comments on my blog at times and some other comments, I've seen people taking issue with Igor being number 1. Their argument being is he's had stretches during the year where he struggled, right? Jonathan Quick pretty much saved their bacon last year at times when Igor had that struggle in January and February. But, look, you could argue that Connor Hellebuck had the same thing, right? On the first 4 months of the year, Helly was just unconscious, and then he returned to a sense of normalcy to a certain extent the last 2 months. But you also have to factor in the playoffs, right? What that goalie did or can do in the playoffs should be a component of that rating.
Goalies inherently are streaky. I mean, that's they always are. I mean, the complaint I heard from I saw in some of the comments was, well, of course they've rated Shesterkin number 1. It's the year before he turns a free agent, so they're trying to boost his value. I mean, come on with the conspiratorial minded bull crap. I mean, it's a joke. He's the best. I think he's the best goaltender in the league. Yes, for 3 months he did not play great last year, but when it counted,
he played great.
He was the number 1 reason they got to the conference final.
Right.
So, and I have no problem with Hellebuck number 2.
No.
Based on last year, Andrei Vasilevsky should not be 3rd overall. He was coming back from a back injury. He, I think, played slightly above average the rest of the season. If you're talking about his career or you're just talking about the top 10 goaltenders, period, last year he was not a top 10 goaltender. I mean, he was lower in the top 10 than number 3.
Yeah, I would put Bob number 3.
Yeah, and they had Bob 7.
I mean, that's such a slap in the face. It's like, did you watch him at all last year? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So
I would actually have Swayman at 3, honestly, and I'd have Bobrovsky at 4.
That's fine.
You can interchange the two, but Swayman. Look, part we'll have to see whether or not what Swayman can do having a full-time role. Right? We can use the term luxury if we want. We can use a detriment, whichever one you want. He split time with Allmark. That has either benefited him from keeping him fresher or prevented him at times to maybe being even further on the top of his game because every time he would get on a roll, he would sit the next game. Now he's probably going to be a 50 to 60 game a player. Presuming he's as good as we think he is,
right?
Number 3 seems to fit. 3 or 4 seems to fit as to where he should be.
Well, okay. This is the interesting thing because he's a restricted free agent right now, and they still haven't signed him. And I'm sure that that's going to get done before the season starts. But the question with the Bruins is what are they going to pay him? I mean, I think you have to put, they could say, well, you've been a tandem goaltender. Yeah, but he was their number one in the playoffs. Ullmark played one game against Toronto. They sat him, and then Swayman played the rest of the way. I mean, to me, he should be paid in the Sorokin range of probably.
He's going to get less. It's Boston. He'll probably get 7.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. He should, but that Boston bullcrap with them taking less.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish other teams out there would say, well, you got to take less if you want to play for the Bruins or play for the Leafs or play for the Wings.
They know the owner, Mike. So it's like if you want to be there, they know the owner is only going to pay so much. Like they just know that.
I mean, they were talking about Zadorov getting $6 million a year, which would have been ridiculous, but a lot of teams probably would have paid that, and he got 5 to play with Boston. So, okay. So as Jan said, Swayman is 4th. And I like this guy. I think he's a really good goaltender. Ilya Sorokin had a bad year last year.
Bad season.
Bad season. He put down the stretch. It was Varlamov in the playoffs. So I don't know how the hell you put him 5th on this list.
No, I have Ottinger there.
Right. Okay. So
same. No question. I think Ottinger was a big reason why Dallas made it as far as they did.
No question.
Right.
And as we get into the talk on Team USA, Ottinger's name will be prominently mentioned in terms of that list between the pipes as well.
Now, they had Thatcher Demko 6th. I don't have an issue with that.
No.
Jan?
No, it seems reasonable.
They had Bobrovsky 7. I think we all said he should have been higher. This is one that I'm sure Russ will have a problem with. UC Saros 9th.
He shouldn't be in the list. He just shouldn't be. Go look at Jordan Binnington. Binnington had a way better season than UC Saros. Way better.
But Binnington has been way more. Binnington's game has been like a seismograph at times, though.
But this is for last year,
with his performance.
The past doesn't matter. The future doesn't matter, even though he has a cup.
It's goalies right now. It's not just.
Okay, so go look at Saros right now. Go look at his record in the playoffs. Go look at it. Look at his save percentage. Look at his win-loss. It's not good. He's great in the regular season.
I mean, okay, this is the thing. It depends on the methodology that they're using for this list. Is it the 10 best goaltenders, or is it, they said top 10. Is it top 10 for last year, top 10 period?
Right now it tells me off of last year. It's right now, this moment.
Right. So, I mean, if it's top 10 goaltenders, you can make a case for Binnington, who had a .913 save percentage and 28 wins for a non-playoff team. You can make a case, even though his save percentage was under 900, for the most overworked goaltender in the NHL last year, Georgiev.
Yep.
But his stat, I mean, he had 38 victories. He led the NHL in wins, but because his save percentage was under 900.
Right, that's why he shouldn't be in it. I agree with that. But I'm just saying, Saros has these great regular seasons. He hasn't had them in the playoffs, and he didn't have it last year. Binnington's better right now. Sorry.
And nobody, far be it from me to defend somebody who played for the Edmonton Oilers, but maybe Stuart Skinner should have been considered.
Maybe over Ullmark, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Ullmark was a tandem goalie. His statistics were not as good. They were close to Swayman, but not as good as Swayman. And so you've got 2 goalies splitting time on this list, 1/4, 1/10.
Well, the only thing, though, is now, going back to the Rangers when Villemure and Jacquemin won co-Vezinas, then you would. These guys didn't, so.
Right. I mean, it was almost an equal split. And, yes, back in the day, I mean, there were people who say, oh, Bunny LaRocque is almost as good as Dryden. Not really. But Billy Smith and Resch, there were times when, tandem goaltenders could have been put on a top 10 list. Yeah. I just don't know about that. So, but anyway, so it's
a pretty good list. It's not
good list, just some fodder for the summer. But just one thing. So we haven't heard anything about the Shesterkin extension. I don't know whether this is going to last deep into the season or this is something that gets done before training camp. What is your feel, Jan, on what is going to happen with Shesterkin?
Well, as of now, the rumor is that he wants to extract as much money as possible. He probably wants a salary in the cap hit range of about 14% of the overall cap, somewhere between 13 and 14%, which could end up being somewhere in the $13 million range a year, which I think is way more than the Rangers want to pay. I mean, that to me, and again, there's been no indication, at least publicly, that he's indicating he's willing to take a quote unquote hometown discount to stay in New York, right? So, but my view on this is, if you're going to see a deal done, you're going to likely see something done probably in January, just like they did with Lundqvist when he signed his extension. I don't think it's anything pressing right now. I think it's going to get more so done as we approach the January deadline, as opposed to doing it now.
Yeah, I would give him 11.5 or 12 by 8. That's what I would do.
Right. I just can't see them see the Rangers allowing him to get anywhere close to the market. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that they're going to fold and give him everything.
Yeah, I mean, this happened with Lundqvist too, and it got resolved. This will get resolved.
Right. Okay. All right. Team USA 2026 Olympics. I'm going to look past the four nations because I don't know whether, I mean, it might be an indicator of what the Olympic team, because it's obviously going to be a year from when the Olympic team will play in Milano Cortina, but there could be some
built that arena yet.
I don't know, but if they don't, if they haven't, then they'll probably play when they were, where was it in Italy previously? Torino. They'll probably play in Turin.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, fuck, they did the surfing in Tahiti for the Olympics. I'm sure they're glad it wasn't in the Seine, so they'd all start puking. But
the 2028 LA Olympics are doing it, part of it in the Midwest. So
okay. So I didn't vote for what event are they doing?
I forgot which event. There's a couple events they can't do out in LA, so they're actually, I think, doing it like in Oklahoma, which is just kind of crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Because that Olympic Village in Oklahoma is clearly the one you want to stay at.
Yeah.
It's sure. Like, with the other Olympians, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I
Same
mean,
thing with Tahiti.
So did they take part in the opening ceremonies and then fly to Tahiti?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they were there the whole time. I think they were there the whole time for some reason. Yeah,
well, they should have those done and let them fly back to Paris for the.
You can't find anything about this arena being built yet, and it's supposed to be built by the end of 2025. Like I said, I got a friend who lives out there. I'll have to ask him again. I have a feeling this is going to be down to the wire.
They're going to play in Turin. I'll tell you anything. They're going to play in Turin. Okay. The goaltenders to me are I don't know if it's easy. It's an embarrassment of riches. Let's just say that, because like I on my list, I have 4 goalies and they'll take 3. And the 4 are Ottinger, Hellebuck, Swayman, and Demko. And of the 4, I mean, okay, remember, we're going to have another year of evidence in terms, but right now I would say, because Swayman has only had one great year, that I would take Demko over him. But if Swayman has another year like he did last year, then I think Swayman would be in the top 3. Thoughts?
I'd say Ottinger's the clear number 1, I think, as of now. Although it's going to be close. Well, again, it's going to be another year or two, so we'll see where they are. But I would not be shocked if. Again, in terms of your number 3, I personally view Swayman as a more talented goalie than Demko. I think if Swayman has a good year this year, in other words, if he puts up numbers similar to what he did as a part-time goalie, as the full-time netminder, then I think he gets the nod over Demko.
Yeah, see, I think you have to have a guy that's like a true number 1, like there's no question. And right now, we still don't know if Swayman is a true number 1, honestly.
Yeah.
Demko, we know. So I can't say Swayman yet. I would put Demko over him.
Right. I think Demko will probably be the choice for the 4 nations. But if Swayman has another year like he had last year, I think, and I don't think Team USA is going to do this stuff where like they're going to pick Like Canada might choose Devin Levi as their third goalie because they want the young guy who gets the.
Yeah, I don't think USA is going to do that.
No. I mean, I saw one list that had Spencer Knight, and Spencer
No,
Knight.
they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Okay. Center. The top two, I think, are no doubt. It's Matthews and Eichel. And Jack Hughes, I would say, is in no doubt as a third center. There is some debate on who like fourth line center would be. I've seen lists where, Dylan Larkin, and that makes sense because Dylan Larkin can play two-way. Remember, 2010 Olympics, they chose Chris Drury as the fourth line center. They always like a
Brian Burke made a mistake on that.
Yeah, but he didn't play bad, Russ. I mean, they wanted
bad, but he was past it. We all knew
he was past it, but they wanted a penalty killer. They wanted a leader. I don't think it was a bad selection.
It wasn't a good selection.
Okay, it didn't cost them. But what are your thoughts on centers?
I think Eichel could end up moving to wing, which would end up meaning that you'd have Matthews and Hughes as your top two centers as opposed to Eichel, right? Eichel gives him that flexibility to a certain extent, depending on how the matchups would work to be able to do that. I think Larkin certainly should make the team. I think he may end up being their third line center if they move Eichel, right? So that gives them some fungibility and flexibility in terms of it. I do think it all depends. The fourth line depends on how you want to construct that fourth line in terms of the type of player you want. Are you going to take somebody who's a little bit more of a scorer, or are you going to take somebody who's more defensive minded? Personally, in my opinion, they're probably better off taking somebody who's a bit more defensive minded. Would probably, to me, make more sense, especially if you're going to have Eichel on the wing and Larkin as your third line center. That to me would make more sense. Somebody
big, physical, and fast. I mean, I don't know who that would be, but you know that Canada is going to try to load up with size. Like I could see Tom Wilson making Canada. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's not making Canada.
No, I'm just saying like a player like that, Russ.
Yeah, I think the U.S. will take a different approach. I don't even think they'll have like a fourth line, like you think of a fourth line. Okay. I think you need to have the most talented center in that line, and I think it'll be Will Smith. That's who I think it'll be.
Ooh, okay.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting because I think a lot's going to depend on what you see out of him this year.
Sure.
May be an impact there, right? So
he's been impacted everywhere so far, so we'll see.
No. I think it also depends on what they do with certain players, right? Tage Thompson is normally a center, but he can play wing, right? JT Miller is normally a center, he can play wing, right? So it all depends on kind of how they construct their lineup using the wingers as to which one of those guys potentially ends up playing center also.
Yeah, I think Thompson will play the wing. I don't think Eichel will be on the wing.
Yeah, because Eichel, I mean, Thompson is a more offensive player. Defensively, I don't think he's very good. Sometimes he gets away with things because of his size, whereas Eichel, I think, is better defensively than Thompson. And strangely enough, I think he's more physical than Thompson too. So, you put Eichel and you have Hughes as a third line center. That gives
that's what I think they're going to do.
That's a matchup MFer. That is really that would really be tough. Okay, so now I'll throw the hand grenade into the room here, Russ. Will Patrick Kane be on this team?
No, too old.
Jan?
No, too old.
I think there's a chance he might be. Again, it depends on what he does this year. He scored almost a point a game for Detroit and was only out for a couple games since when he came back. So he did not. There was not any major slippage.
Is this going to be an NHL rink or is this going to be an Olympic rink?
It's NHL dimensions.
Okay, so it'll be NHL dimensions, which helps them. I just think it's too much to ask at that point in the future. I don't think it's worth it. You don't need them.
Listen, if you're going to take him, you have to play him because you can't make him an extra, right? Because of the optics associated. So you need to be willing to be able to put him out there for a regular shift all the time.
There's a million guys to play the power play. You don't need him.
And he'll be playing with Larkin for he played with Larkin last year. He played with Larkin this year.
I don't think Larkin makes it.
You don't think
Dylan
Larkin makes
it? I think Dylan Larkin makes it.
We'll see.
Okay. this is a no-brainer. The Kachucks, both of them are making it.
They're making it.
Yeah, they're making
Okay.
it.
Okay, here's another one, because I'm working off a list that was from an article in The Athletic, and I'm just like extrapolating off of it. Does Chris Kreider make it?
Yes.
Chris Kreider
Yes.
might be that fourth line physical guy.
Right. Well, you won't.
Not his normal
not
role
as
now, because
physical
he's not
as
that
people
physical.
Right.
He's
Right.
big. He
He's
just
big.
Power play
one of the-
guy in front of the net. That's what he is.
one of the criticisms of his game, especially with the guys who read me, is he doesn't maximize his physical skills. He doesn't play physical like we thought they were going to get when he first got called up. But what he can do now, that has been a material sea change over the last couple of years, is he's become a pretty darn good penalty killer.
Yeah.
You can use him on the penalty kill as well, without having a guy there who's more of a penalty kill specialist, because Kreider can play both special teams and take a regular shift.
Which is where I was going to go with this suggestion as a fourth line center, and also as a penalty killer, as an excellent penalty killer last year, Vincent Trocheck.
He'll get a
I
look.
think if he has another good year this year,
Yeah.
he's certainly going to get a look-see in terms of making that lineup.
He's not one of their regular guys. That's the problem.
No, he's not. But I mean, he had an excellent year and a great playoff.
He had a great year.
And he's physical. He has no problem taking the body either.
He's great on faceoffs. You know that.
Okay, I'll just give you the names that they have on this list as left wingers, and obviously they'll probably take 13 or 14. I think the roster is 25 players.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would probably be 14 forwards, 8
And one or two of these players will be hurt too.
Of course. But I'm just saying the here and the now. But it'll probably be 14 forwards, 8 defensemen, and 3 goalies. Left wing, Matthew Tkachuk, no brainer. Jason Robertson,
No brainer.
No brainer.
Kyle Connor,
He'll make it.
Yes, no brainer.
Yep. Cole Caulfield,
On the bubble.
right?
Should make it.
I think a lot of it depends on how else they construct the lineup, right? You've mentioned names like Kreider, you mentioned names like Tkachuk, right?
Right.
Like Trocheck, right? All depends on who plays center and who plays wing also, right? That lineup construction will make a material difference. If a guy who normally plays center like Eichel is moved to wing, that changes dimensions in terms of how they line up. But if they want flexibility, Caulfield is a scorer. I mean, that's what he does. The defensive part of the game is still a major work in progress.
Right. If Caulfield makes it, probably Kane doesn't make it. And the other name was Johnny Gaudreau on the left side.
Won't make it.
Don't think he makes it.
Okay. On the right side, Brady Tkachuk.
No brainer.
They have Eichel on the right side. I think he'll play center, but
I think so too.
Tage Thompson.
Yep.
That's fine. Clayton Keller.
I think Keller will make it. Yeah.
I think Keller will play with Matthews.
Yeah, I think he will.
That is they
were on the same team at the NTDP.
Yeah. There's a relationship there, and Keller's game sort of favors Matt. He's a playmaker. You want a playmaker to set up Matthews. It makes no sense to put like the Kachucks with Matthews. I mean that would just be like a bulldozer. The other name was Brock Besser.
Won't make it.
Borderline. Like a lot of it depends on, like you said, does Kane make it? Does Kreider make it? Does Trocheck make it? Right? All those guys are going to be.
He doesn't do a lot of things other than score, which is great. But for the Olympics, they're going to marginalize him.
Right. And like you said, a Will Smith or some young kid who comes out like Cutter Gauthier. You know what I'm saying? It's like
somebody like that with tremendous speed.
Right. Or size, Matthew Nye, somebody, somebody like that who has a big year next year.
Yeah.
They could, and size and speed. And I made the case for Nyes on one of my blogs. They said, okay, he didn't have a big year last year, 15 goals, but Team USA knows him from the World Juniors, from the Olympics.
Yeah.
That always counts.
They could use him on the fourth line.
Yeah. That always counts.
They wanted to do a traditional fourth, but I'm not sure they're gonna.
Right. Okay, defense. No doubters. Quinn Hughes,
Yep.
Charlie McAvoy.
Yep.
Adam Fox.
Yep.
No doubt. Slavin. No doubt. I
don't know. How old is he going to be?
Oh, come on. He's a shutdown guy. They'll put him.
How old is he going to be?
Slavin? He's 28, 29.
He'll be 30, 31. Yeah, he'll make it.
I'm not sure. This list has Brett Pesce. I thought he was Canadian. I don't think
Pesce would make it.
I thought he was Canadian, actually. I mean, I'm wrong.
I'm not sure. I don't think he is, but I don't think he'd make it anyhow.
Okay, so here are some that
he was born in Tarrytown, New York, by the way.
Okay.
I just looked.
That's not Canada. That's not Canada. So I think he's on the bubble, and him and Slavin played for years together, and you know how they like pairs. So
yeah, I don't know. At that point, I don't think they're going to recreate that.
No, but maybe. But it's 2 years from now, or a year.
2 years from now,
a year and a half from now. Okay,
that's like recreating the Odd Couple when they were like 65 years old each.
Pesce's only 29, so it's not like he's old.
Right.
No, but again, a lot of mileage.
I agree with you.
Sure. I agree. Okay. Possible bubble guys. Zach Werenski.
He's more than a bubble guy. If he's healthy, he's going to make it.
Jan. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with if he's healthy. The problem is if he's healthy.
Right.
Right, which is always the issue. Jake Sanderson.
He's most likely going to make it, yes.
I think it depends on his development over the next year. I mean, we saw signs last year, but I think it all depends on his development over the next year in Ottawa.
Well, this guy, just double checking here before this guy just got a big contract, Brock Faber.
Depends. I mean, he could get marginalized because he is a tweener as far as things that he does, but Adam Fox does everything Brock Faber does. There's Quinn Hughes does everything Brock Faber does. They may go for a more physical defenseman, not Trouba. Trouba's not making it. But I'm just saying a guy like that over a Faber, like that's what they might do.
Who could play?
Faber did block 150 shots last year.
I know, but
those right. If you had your choice between Brock Faber and Luke Hughes, which one are you taking?
Yeah, that's
Faber, because Hughes is a turnover machine,
and Hughes I think is on the bubble.
No, he's not on the bubble. I don't think he's make it.
With both of his brothers there, Darren Skippy. It
doesn't matter that his brothers are there. It matters about his play.
I think he's on the bubble.
And Faber, again, how many blocked shots are there in the Olympics? It's not like the regular season in the NHL. It's not.
I know. Well, okay, here are potential bubble guys. He'll be 34 years old in 2006. John Carlson.
No, too old.
No.
33-year-old Cam Fowler.
Nope.
Too much mileage.
30-year-old Seth Jones.
He'll be highly considered as that other bigger defenseman.
There's your Trouba. There's your physical guy.
That's who it's probably going to be.
They would love to choose this guy, but I think he'll just be too old. 35-year-old Ryan McDonough.
Nope. I think too much mileage on him also, I think probably.
How about 29-year-old Noah Hannafin?
No.
They
have guys who can do all that and more.
And how about 30-year-old Brady Shea?
No. Although Shea's actually had a couple of very good years in a row.
Yes, but I think his time has sort of passed for that.
Well, I think it's more the fact that there are other defensemen who can do what he does that are better, more well-rounded. I mean, he's really good offensively, but you've got Fox. You've got Fox. You got McAvoy. You got Hughes. I mean, how many offensive
teams of defensemen, really good ones?
Right. Yeah. The thing is, they have enough offense. I mean, you could make a case for Shane Gostisbehere or whatever, but but you need shutdown guys.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to have some of them. That's why Seth Jones will.
Which a name I saw somewhere, which is an interesting one, and we'll see how well he plays here, is Matt Roy. not spoken about a lot, but a really solid shutdown type D-man.
Can't rule it out because it's possible they would go that route.
That's why a Pesci and a Slavin.
Yep.
They will want.
Right. But they only need like 2 of those guys, and we just named 4 of them. So 2 of them won't make it. Maybe 3 won't make it.
Right. All right. Good job, guys. We'll be back on Monday with another edition of the Hockey Buzzcast. So I think we'll do Team Canada on Monday. Okay. I'm sure that. Yeah. I'll just say this: the 5th string goalie for Team USA would be the starter for Team Canada.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm saying it. I'm right too.
You're not right.
For Jan Levine, for Russ Cohen, I am the right Mike Agello. And this is the Hockey Buzzcast. Thank you for watching. And remember, without the buzz, it's just hockey.